You know, there's this system. It controls almost everything. You use it every single day, but you've probably never seen how it actually works. Behind every simple tap to pay is this incredibly complex hidden architecture. We're talking multiple systems, multiple layers, all with different rules, but they're all controlling the same money. So the real question is, who actually controls it? And what happens when that entire system gets redesigned from the ground up? Because finance isn't just changing, it's being completely re-architected. And in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what that means.
All right, before we dive in, just a quick heads up. This video from us here at the Blocks Bonds Funds channel is purely for educational and informational purposes. It is definitely not financial or investment advice.
Okay, let's get into it. First things first, we need to understand the hidden architecture of this system we all use. It's time to pull back the curtain and see how your money really gets from one place to another.
And this image right here, it really gets to the heart of the problem with the traditional system. It's a structure that's built on three core challenges: a whole bunch of costly middlemen, information that isn't shared equally, and these big, centralized risks that create single points of failure. These are the fundamental cracks we're going to explore.
So to really get how money moves, you have to know about payment rails. The best way to think about them is like these invisible highways that all our money travels on. They're the digital plumbing, the pipes that connect all the different banks and let your money flow from point A to point B.
But wait, where does all this money actually come from in the first place? Now, most of us probably think that central banks are just printing it all, but that's not really the whole story. The vast majority of money in the system is actually created by commercial banks every single time they give out a new loan. They basically create a new deposit out of thin air.
Okay, so if that's where the money comes from, how does it move around, especially across borders? A wire transfer feels so direct, right? Like you're sending it straight there. But it's not. It's really a multi-step messaging process. Your bank sends an instruction, usually through a network like SWIFT, and that message gets passed along a whole chain of intermediary banks. It's basically a game of telephone for your money, not a direct flight.
Now let's look at how this layered message-based system creates some really big problems. I mean, this isn't just about things being a little inefficient. It has real-world consequences. We're talking friction, risk, and a whole lot of delay.
This slide here shows one of the biggest cracks in the entire system, and it's this gap between clearing and settlement. When you get that little notification that your payment is processing, that's just clearing. It's the system saying, yep, the instructions look good. But the settlement, the actual final irreversible transfer of funds between the banks, that can take hours or even days. And that gap, that's where all the delay and the risk really live.
And all these frictions, they really add up. Every single middleman in that payment chain tacks on a fee. That settlement gap we just talked about, that creates those annoying multi-day delays. And while you're waiting, there's always the chance, the risk, that one of those institutions in the chain could fail. It all adds up to a system that's expensive, slow, and, surprisingly, held together by a ton of manual work.
So, if the old way is full of friction and risk, what's the alternative? What if we could build a whole new system from the ground up based on a completely different set of rules? Well, this is where finance starts to become programmable.
In the foundational technology making this all possible is the smart contract. Now, this isn't some legal paper document. It's self-executing code. Think of it like a digital agreement that automatically enforces its own rules. When certain conditions are met, it just runs. There's no need for a person to step in and give an okay. The code is the agreement.
And the benefits of this kind of automation? They directly attack all the weaknesses of the old system we just talked about. Settlement can go from taking days to just seconds, because clearing and settlement can happen at pretty much the same time. The automated logic gets rid of human error, and since it all runs on a shared ledger, like a blockchain, everyone involved has the same transparent, auditable record. This just slashes the need for all those costly middlemen. This technology has massive implications right across the world of finance. But one of the first and most powerful places we're seeing it take hold is inside large corporations. As this great quote from a Citi report points out, it's totally transforming how they manage their cash, turning their treasury department from a simple reporting center into a live control tower for their global money.
This slide shows the before and after so perfectly. On the left, you've got the old world. Treasury teams trying to manually juggle funds across dozens of different accounts in different time zones, different currencies. It's a huge headache. But on the right, you have the new world, programmable money that uses smart contracts to automatically optimize all of that. You could set a rule, for example, that automatically sweeps cash from one part of the business to another the second it's needed. That's real-time, intelligent control.
Now, what's really crucial to understand is that this new architecture doesn't have to just wipe out the old one overnight. Instead, what we're seeing is a kind of hybrid model emerge. This diagram shows how modern systems are actually building a bridge, allowing a single platform to manage both traditional money and new digital assets, all in one place. It connects the two worlds.
But you know, this redesign isn't really just about better tech. It brings up a much more fundamental question, a question about structure and ultimately about control. As we build this whole new system, who's going to get to write the new rules?
As this new financial system gets built, it's really heading in two very different directions at the exact same time. On one side, you have these centralized systems. Think regulated bank tokens, government digital currencies, all running on private, permissioned ledgers. That path is all about making the existing system more efficient while keeping all the institutional control. But on the other side, you have decentralized systems, DeFi, which are trying to replace those institutions completely with open code that's governed by a community of users.
And that leaves us with the ultimate question. As we move from a financial system that relies on manual middlemen to one based on automated, programmable money, the most important conversation isn't really about the technology itself. It's about who gets to define the rules of the game. And the answer to that question is what will truly shape the future of global finance.